Hello, am I audible?
Hello. We will be starting in few minutes.
Hello, am I audible? Less than 1 minute left.
Hello, hello.
Hello, everyone. We'll be starting in few minutes. Hi, I'm Nikhil Jain. I'll be the host of the session. I request everyone else to please mute themselves. Okay. Hi, Satvik.
Hi. Yeah, hi Nikki. How are
I'm good.
you?
How are you?
I'm fine.
It's good to see.
Yes.
It's good. We'll just wait for a few minutes. Let people join, and then we'll start off the session. Okay. I hope I'm just waiting for Isha to join.
Yeah.
Isha is there, right?
Yeah, I'm online. Am I supposed to keep my camera on?
Yeah, Isha, you can keep your camera on.
Sure. Hi.
Hi, hello everyone. So, uh, I'll first give a brief introduction at what this session is going to be all about, and then we will have a little bit of, flow introducing all of you, like each of the speakers, and then we'll talk about individual topics, and then we would go to the Q&A sections. Okay. At any point of time with the Q&A, if there are any questions apart from the topics, I'll be able to take that ahead, or else the participants can write this Q&A and we'll get back to them on the email. Okay. With that said, just let me start it off. Yeah. So where are you, Isha and Satvik, right now?
Well, I'm from Telangana, Karimnagar. I mean, near to Hyderabad.
Interesting. Isha, and what about you? Hello. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Nikhil Jain, and welcome to today's webinar. We'll be discussing career scopes in economics, analysis, research, and other fields. Okay. And this webinar is in partnership with JKLU and LSEF Foundation, uh, along with Foreign Advocates. In this webinar, you would get to know what are the career prospects in 2020, with the entire policies are being going under a revamp. Global economies are totally changing, and there's a lot of economical advantage or disadvantages positions that as in corporates to businesses to government are at. And we would also look upon what can you do in this current pandemic to save your 1 year, and then you can probably get ahead into your career. So those are the things that we'll be discussing, and we have two really eminent speakers who are going through that phase which you wanted to go and are at their respective positions in their career. So we'll be talking what they have done in their career and what you can learn from them, and expert tips and insights from each of their career prospects. Without further ado, let's start the webinar. So first of all, I would like each and every participant to write down in the chat section what are you expecting to learn out of this webinar. What are your questions? What are your thoughts? What do you want to learn from this particular webinar, so that we can cover more of those insights and information when as the webinar goes. Okay. Meanwhile, let me reintroduce again. We have Isha Mohanty, an eminent speaker for today's webinar. She is right now completing her Master's in Arts and Development Economics and International Studies from University of Nuremberg, and she has done a lot of volunteering and been a part of as a research intern in Rajya Sabha also. And with her experience coming into development economics, we could learn a little bit of how her career journey went from SRCC, which is again India's the topmost college in commerce, to an international university like University of Ireland and Nuremberg. So these are the things that we learned from Isha. And then Satvik is another mentor here, who would basically be talking about data analytics. He did his computer science and engineering from Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University, JNTU, and then he got into LSEF UMass as a scholar, and he's right now completing his master's with University of Massachusetts in USA and JK University in India, in masters in data analytics and computational social sciences. So these are very interesting fields that a lot of you may not have even heard about. We'll be discussing these unconventional and highly prospect oriented fields, how they can help you in 2020 and beyond. So okay, so we are getting a lot of questions already. Great, guys. Just keep pushing in all the questions, so that once we start the webinar, we discuss all these things. We'll take care of all the questions. Okay, so let's start with Isha. Can you give a like a 5 minute quick journey description of how you started, where you started, what triggered you, to choose a particular field like development economics, which is not very popular in India. A lot of people even don't know about it, you know. So, and how the profile looks like, when you went to the university, how the university journeys look like.
Right, thank you for the question. So basically, I did my bachelor's in economics from Delhi University from Lady Shri Ram College actually, and over there, I think in the first 2 years, we did not have a lot of exposure for development economics. We only got to know about it in third year. But I mean, and there are, I mean, in the form of internships and in the form of the independent projects that we were doing, the research that our professors used to do was majorly in the field of development economics. So I mean that is how I got exposed to development economics. I mean, yeah, it's a gray area in India per se, but not in the in terms of research. I mean, there's a lot of research going on in the form of impact evaluations and monitoring. Niti Aayog is a pioneer in those projects. There are certain funding institutions, research institutions. A lot of them are coming up these days. However, there's not a structured course per se in development economics in India. But I mean, the people who work in the field are students. I mean, the master students who've done proper applied economics or a master's in economics. So yeah, that way. But here in Germany and in a lot of countries actually, there is a proper structured course in development economics which focuses just on those aspects of the subject which is useful for working in the social and in the development space.
So I think there's a lot of gap is there in terms of the course curriculum to what needs to be there for the industry or the social sector, the government sector demands. So we'll discuss definitely as the webinar goes along about the course structures, about individual subject aspects, you know, and probably we can learn a little bit more about that. So let's come to Satvik. Satvik, you have a very uh, ideal kind of a profile, BTech in computer science, then got into data analytics and research and social analytics. So how did this happen? Like, what was your thought process?
So I've done my BTech in computer science from JNTUH, and during my undergrad, I have worked with professors. I mean, different professors in computer science. They have worked with machine learning projects and all those things. So during that time, one of my professors is working on a healthcare data set. I mean, she is doing a research on breast cancer data set and all those things. So basically, I'm good at coding, and so she requested help from me, and we worked on the project and all those things. And from that time, I had my first brush with the data sets and all those things. So from that time, my interest has moved towards data, and I started doing projects related to that, and have written few research papers regarding healthcare on brain image segmentation and all those things. So right after my undergrad, I always I mean, I've searched for various universities and countries, and I thought US will be the best for to apply for masters and all those things, because millions of investments has been going on the data in the America and all those. And UMass is one of the main center for healthcare related projects and all. So my interest has moved towards that from there. So and then I've heard about the scholarships and all those things here, and then I applied for LSEF UMass scholarship and went through it.
Great, yeah, amazing. I think this is a very structured way of going about it. You knew or you kind of found out how you can, go about your particular career choices. And definitely LSCF UMass is a very interesting course. Can you tell a little bit about your scholarship and the program that you are currently in?
So this is a joint bridge program between JKLU-LSEF University and University of Massachusetts Amherst. So basically, you'll be doing your first year here and completing the prerequisites for the Masters in Data Analytics and Computational Social Science in UMass. So you'll be going through different courses like economics, critical thinking, and applied research topics and research design, various topics that will be involved. And then after completing 1 year here, you'll be moved to UMass for pursuing a second year at the University of Madrid. And it is about a 20 lakh scholarship that you'll be getting from LSEF UMass, which will be completely a grant and not a loan.
Wow, that's very huge.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's come back to the particular course choices. Okay, with Isha first, development economics. You definitely said that your professor was working into this particular choice. But what made you find interest in this, and what kind of reinforced the interest while you were choosing a university or a course outside? And how do you see the career prospects in economics and development economics in specifics? Okay, for any aspirant in the coming years.
Sure. Like I said, after my graduation, I had worked in a research firm for a year. It was a research firm which majorly worked in the monitoring and impact evaluation sector, and I was involved in two projects. One was in the I was managing a team for the development of a data management platform for data collection and questionnaire building and everything from end to end. It was a data management platform. Second, the research projects that I was involved in was one in public health, another one in energy access. So that's how, I mean, the projects that we did as a part of the institute was in collaboration with a lot of researchers from around the world. So I got a lot of exposure there, and I was confused about going for a normal master's in economics or development economics or a master's in public policy. I did a lot of cold emailing then to the professors, to the researchers, to all the professionals who have been working in the field, and asked them about how to go about it. And so my choice of the university and the country and the institution, everything was I mean, it was rather specific, institution specific, definitely. And also I came across the profile of this professor who taught here in Germany, so wanted to be in close proximity to him, and that's how I applied here. I mean, I always knew that I had to go for economics, but I did not know if I had to do a a specialization course like development economics, or just go for economics. That got cleared when I worked on ground and I got to know what it is as a part of my company, the previous company that I worked in.
Wow, interesting. So, Satvik, so what's your thought about, data analytics is being kind of a very hot topic right now, and you got into data analytics with computational social science. It's a very interesting kind of a merge of analytics and another allied field. So how's the experience currently? What are the, your learnings in this particular kind of course? And what kind of exposure that you are getting as of now?
So basically, data analytics and computational social science. So initially, so basically, I don't have any work experience right now, but I have worked under professor. So what they have said is how you can actually do a survey and work on case studies, and how you can actually say, get the data which is valid and reliable, how to perform the survey analysis and all those things. We can, I have learned from this JKLU-LSEF University and from US scholars, and we have few guest lectures from Indian Institute of Science. Professor Bala has also visited us regarding research design, and he has taught research design for us, and we learned great things through that.
Interesting.
So how to actually perform the data and how to collect it. And so basically we what I have thought initially is working with data analytics is, so initially trying to predict that cleaning the data and predicting the results from the data, but it is not the exact thing that we do. We just have to know how the data is collected and where is the data from. Is the data is valid or it is invalid data? Are we performing the analytics on the right data, on is the right question being asked, or is the right hypothesis being built, and all these things will be covered in the course and program.
Interesting. Interesting. So, okay, let's get to a little bit about your, courses. Okay, starting from Satvik, and then Isha may take the lead later. Is like, what's your, thought process in taking this course? Okay, be it LSEF, be it development economics. Okay, how you have selected those subjects, because again, subject matter expertise is really important when you're going for higher education. What's the time frame for your individual courses that you have, and how does the cost look like? Okay, and just give a little bit of the transition experience, starting from choosing a particular college or a course to getting into your target university. How was that process look like? How lengthy was it? How engaging was it?
So this is basically actually a 2-year program. 1 year from, I have already mentioned, 1 year from JKLU and 1 year from UMass. So the university is going to grant you 20 lakh scholarship for that, and you'll be paying for the 20 lakhs. I mean, 7 lakhs at JKLU and 13 lakhs at UMass. So, and then you'll be 1 year after completing the program from JKL, you'll be moving to UMass. So the courses here, they'll be teaching all about research design, academic writing, and all this. So I'll
I
get it.
understand. uh, okay, so I think you are yet to go to UMass right now.
Yeah.
um, so probably next year there's a good chances that you would be going to UMass.
So
So how's the interaction between UMass and you as a student while you are in this course?
So basically, the interaction will be every twice a week. I mean, we'll be working on the projects with the professors, and they will also be monitoring from the UMass itself. So if they like our projects, we'll be given research assistance opportunities between them.
Wow.
So basically, I have worked on cricket commentary data during my coursework in JKLU. So I've even awarded a RA-ship under James Gates, and he's been working on some social activity.
Wow, so staying in your India, you are doing an
Yeah.
RA-ship with a US
From,
professor. So
so
that's a very interesting scenario.
So you can actually communicate with them within twice a week or something like that. And
Hmm. So what are the other benefits that you thought about in this course? Like when you were planning for this course, what benefits that you saw? Apart from it's being a data analytics course, which I'm sure there are many, but what was your thought process in this choosing this course?
so, sorry.
So let me reiterate this question. What made you that this is the course that I would go with? Okay. Apart from there are many other courses that you would have thought about. So what made you think that this could be one of the courses that I should be going with?
Because I've been interested in doing and dealing with the data of market and finance research topics, which mostly involve this computational social science concept, which is being also involved in this course. So,
Interesting.
and that is one of the reason. And the other is I've been looking for universities to pursue data analytics, since I have passion and love towards data analytics right from my undergrad. And one of my professor also suggested me to do a master's in data analytics. So,
Interesting.
so then I've been searching for these things, and I've came through this scholarship and all those things, and I applied for this.
Okay. Absolutely. I think scholarships are a kind of a game changer at many of the
Yeah,
times.
so it even motivates you to study further. And
Absolutely. Yeah, a little bit of financial burden if it's been taken care of. As a student, I can understand, it takes the burden away and then you can be far more
yeah,
engaged in your courses. And couple of, I think, the points about the visiting US. So you would be getting any OPTs also in US?
yeah, we'll be offering a 3 years OPT. I mean,
Oh,
1 year of work period and 2 years extension for that, total of 26 months. And it
wow.
is, you can complete your masters in 1 year in UMass, and you'll be it is a kind of program which is interacting with computer science department, data analytics, and social science department from the UMass. So you'll be interacting with all the different faculty from different departments. It's an interdisciplinary course where you can work with different experts from different fields. So you can
Mm.
for marketing, finance, and analytics, machine learning, and every field. So you'll be having various opportunities to get into.
So I think it's more like a practical, experience oriented course that you got yourself enrolled into, which is very interesting. And I think the 36 months of OPT is very much of an interest for a lot of students who wanted to study abroad. But yeah, talking about study abroad, let's shift to Germany. Isha, what's your thoughts when you were selecting Germany, and this particular university, while compared to other countries like UK and probably like US, what made you choose this particular university, and how was the enrollment process for you?
Yeah, so my choice, like I said, was rather institution specific. Uh, and also I really wanted to be in the close proximity of this one particular researcher, a professor out here, whose work I really liked, and I wanted to somehow get in touch or study under him, be taught by him. So that's how I selected. So I was not specifically looking at universities in Germany. I was open to Europe. I had applied to a few universities in France also, and was planning to apply to a few other countries. But I mean, before that, I selected, I shortlisted a few universities in Germany and got through. So I stopped. So there were three broad options that I had. One was US, one was UK, and one was Germany. And I felt Germany was a little more suitable for me because of a lot of reasons. First, like I said, I really wanted to. I mean, it was institution specific for the professor. Second, it's really comfortable in terms of finances. So this is a central university of Germany, and the education is funded by the government. So the fees are very nominal. It's mostly
Uh,
non-existent, and the
Interesting.
only expense that I have to make here is my living expenses. And so for the first year, I had to block a certain amount, and for the second year, you don't have to show them finances in the terms of in terms of blocked account money. Everybody over here, all the students work in some form or the other, and they earn their living. And that's a model which I really liked. I mean, where students don't have to depend on huge finances from banks or from parents or from relatives, and they could just earn their living. So that's how it is. And about the term, it's basically a 120 credits program. My program is a 120 credits program, and it's supposed to go on for 2 years. But in Germany, it's rather flexible in terms of how much credits you want to complete in which semester. So you could extend it as per your requirements. If you feel that it's too short, 2 years is too short, and you want to take a gap year for an internship, if you want to take a semester break for an internship, or to work part time or full time, I mean, you could do that. And yeah, that's how it is. I mean, you have it's under your discretion
Mm.
to finish it whenever you want to. Yeah.
Interesting. So, okay. So, what do you see as the kind of roles that you guys going to be in after you're completing this course? What are the job prospects or the career prospects open up? With, let's say, development economics.
Yeah, so development economics, there are a lot of different ways that you could go off. A lot of my friends are into the intergovernmental organizations like World Bank, UN, uh, uh, Amnesty International, the international NGOs, and everything. I mean, UN, WHO, World Food Program, and all of these things. So this is like a
Interesting.
really good part. Second is if you want to pursue a PhD, you could apply for PhDs because this is a very research oriented line, like I said. So all these options would be rather research oriented. You could join a funding
Mm.
organization like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, or I mean, there are a lot of foundations in India also, Reliance Foundation, Tata Trusts. You could join research institutions coming up. You could join development consultancies like ID Insight, and Dalberg, TechnoServe, Dasra. All these things are
Wow.
premier development consultancies which take up particularly research projects. I mean, impact evaluation projects in different thematic areas of the development space. I mean, you could also I mean, choose your thematic area. If let's say you enjoy education, or let's say you enjoy public health, you could choose a specific organization which only specialization is in the particular thematic area, like Clinton Health Access Initiative and all of these things. Yeah, I mean, you could actually decide the trajectory for your career based on your interests, which is again a gradual process of exploration. Once you start working with professors on projects, on live projects, you deal with the kind of data that's coming in, and you actually realize which is more which is the thematic area which you enjoy personally, and which is inspiring for you and motivating for you, and that's how you choose what to do
Interesting.
ahead.
Interesting. So what about you, Satvik? So what's your thought process like after this? What could be the kind of roles that you will be able to get into?
So as Isha has already as Isha mentioned, similarly, this is also some kind of course where you can extend your work into PhD and work with the professors, because most of the coursework is related with research design and all this academic writing, paper writing and paper description and everything. So you can either pursue your PhD or extend your thing, and or else you can work in the field of consulting and banking or financial services, healthcare, retail, or e-commerce sectors, and there are many different prospects because these days data is used everywhere, right? So you can have many career opportunities with by pursuing this. You can even go for political side.
Wow. Okay. I think, yeah, political science is something that is now booming up again with a lot of youth taking interest in this particular kind of subjects. So yeah, there's definitely a good scope in this. Okay. Let's come back to a little bit of a current scenario. Okay. Uh, Pandemic, COVID, lockdown. You know, 2020 has not been very much helpful for people in this academics. Okay, and a lot of students are kind of scared to or are even in India, they are not able to go to a particular university. Universities are getting closed. We don't know when the J is going to happen, or let's say the next university enrollment is going to happen. So how are you guys coping up in pandemic as a current student, and what advice did you guys have for the incoming students uh, to kind of use this year in a way that it would help them in future prospects? So if anyone can take the lead and start it.
Yes, I think it has affected me a lot. I mean, even in this COVID situation, I mean, so we have to take online classes and all this, but the situation for me is quite good because the university and the administration have provided great support for us during this pandemic and lockdown. And the best advice for the students who are taking these type of courses is to go for the online courses and don't waste any time, because even that can help you at this moment to increase your skills and develop your skills and be ready for everything. And it will be very easy for you once you get into the course, uh, and you know all the things in prior, and so you can work on the projects which you are interested in. And so that's
Absolutely. What about you, Isha? Like, how's the impact in Germany?
Germany has, I mean, in terms of the cases, it's rather settled right now. We are hearing about a second wave these days, but I mean, it's not fortunately spread out to all areas. It's limited to a few cities. Yeah. So in terms of the education, yeah, everything is online. But fortunately, I could come back. I mean, I had gone back to India for my semester break during February, and I got stuck there for 4 months. And my semester had started in April, but I could only come back in the mid of June. But yeah, fortunately, everything is online for this semester, and my second semester is over now. So it was really managed in a great manner. So there are a few seminar courses that we have, which is where you have to write a paper and present it, and it's not like a written exam that you have for a paper. So for those courses, we have block lectures which goes on throughout the day, and gets over in a 3 day term or a 2 day term. So those kind of papers were organized in the university, and they're planning to do it in the next semester also. So over there, social distancing is maintained. You are made to sit. There's a schedule that they prepare as to when you can enter the hall. So everybody has an individual slot to enter, so that nobody, gets to come in proximity to others. And the government, the Bavarian government and the state government in the state where I live has made COVID testing free. So anyone who's coming from outside or is here and wants to get tested can just do it for free. So I think that's why it's rather controlled. And yeah, and in terms of losing out on the university life, that's true. I mean, we are not getting to go meet our friends or the professors. Everything is online. But yeah, we are hoping that it'll get better in the coming
Yeah.
semesters.
So, what's your message to the students who are currently stuck in this particular scenario? Because a lot of colleges are not working appropriately, and then many of the students kind of miss a year, or probably they would be feeling that this one whole year could be a waste for them. So, how can they build their profile in this current situation?
Right. I mean, my opinion would depend on what my friends are doing. So, a few of my friends had applied to universities abroad, and that got in and that gotten their admits. But so the thing is, if you are going to a country or a university where you have to literally pay a lot of money, invest a lot of your resources, I think it only makes sense to go when you could actually go there and not do online classes. So I think in the time being, if you want, you could just go for an internship or research assistant position. Just search for it somewhere, or build on your skill sets. I think that's a really important thing. Like now, for example, in our field, data analysis is a very important skill set. But I mean, data analysis is rather an umbrella term. There comes a lot of different softwares. There comes a lot of different ways of doing data analysis. So I think you could just try to expand those skill sets and come prepared for the job market when you're coming to a country. I think that's the best way to go. A few of my friends are also doing small diploma courses in the time being, to just to I mean, the best that we could do is just build on our skill sets.
Absolutely. I think with the difficult times, someone needs to actually focus on building skills so that next time when you're applying for a university or going abroad, you have a far stronger profile, and your employment aspects, your selection aspects can increase multifold. Very well said. Uh, with that said, let's start the Q&A. Before starting the Q&A, let me give all of the attendees a brief introduction about a couple of courses that we were researching for students who are struggling. Number A, with pandemic, they are not able to go for a particular college. Number two is, like, if you're deferring your admissions, there are certain courses that can help you in improving your profile in research and analytics. And number three is LSEF UMass is a fantastic course that you can actually look at. 1 year you would be definitely studying in India with the US curriculum, and the next year you would be going to UMass. And in this kind of pandemic where you have at least a 1 year, to spend in India, try to make most out of it, and the next year go to UMass, or opt for any such courses and get a 3 years of OPT in US. So that's a very important thing. Getting a 3 years of OPT in US is going to really help you to for your H-1B visa, and also for staying in US for a longer period of time. Meanwhile, if not US, how can you still build profile to go for European and Australian or any other better universities in fields like economics, data analytics, social sciences, public policies. There's another course that we have shortlisted. It's called PGD program by JKLU University, which basically helps you get equipped with research and analytical methods. It's more like a experiential learning course where you get a lot of hands-on experience on developing that research acumen and analytical skills, so that further you can switch your field if you're not from analytical background or research background. This could act as a very strong bridge course in getting into top universities, across the world. So yeah, having said that, you can see the chat. There are certain links that I've posted. You can just show your interest if you guys are interested. Courses are pretty much fantastic, I would say. And yeah, so let's get on to the questions. So we have gotten a bunch of questions from students. Uh, One of the thing is career in economics and data sciences or machine learning. I think it's a very broad question, but both of the speakers have actually covered it in economics and in data sciences. To just add on, finance domain is kind of exploding in India, okay, and is also exploding in Europe and other places also, where the fintechs are coming. If you're talking about startups and in general the industrial developments, so that's something you can look at. And as what I think Isha said, the whole United Nations organizational structures are getting tested with with the COVID times coming in, the new policies, the whole economic scenarios of different countries are going to get changed. So yes, definitely a lot of learning for you guys to be there, to be in that part of field, and definitely there would be good amount of jobs coming in the next couple of years. Once this economic crisis gets lowered after a while. So this is actually a good time when the economic crisis is there in 2001, 2008, and now in 2020. It's actually a good time to go get back to academics, build your skills, and then come back once the crisis is a little low. So next question is it necessary to learn data sciences to get a career in data analytics? Satvik, would you want to take this?
I mean, data analytics is a part of data science. I think the question is
Absolutely, I understand. So data
so.
analytics is, yes, Satvik, please
So
explain this.
to get into data science first at all, you need to have a good strong foundations in mathematics, which is linear algebra, calculus, and so basically everyone thinks that mathematics is different thing when compared with data science and data analytics, because when you're perfect in your fundamentals, you can actually go with full force in data science. I mean, mathematics is a fundamental thing which you have to get uh, perfect with. And next, programming now you need to have a programming knowledge of Python or is necessary, and a SQL programming, because you are working with the data, right? So you need to learn one data processing language, which is SQL, and that's it. You can do well if you are very good at this mathematical concepts and programming concepts, and you
Interesting.
can work with Python libraries and all libraries, and you can actually deal with that very easily.
Interesting. So there's one very interesting question, and I think this is something as you guys are already there in your fields. Uh, what are the mistakes a student or an aspirant who are trying to pursue career in analytics or economics might have to look for to avoid them? Or maybe you guys might have done some mistakes which you feel that others should not be doing it. So any share of experiences on those?
So, which I have mentioned earlier, you need to be perfect at your fund, because most I've seen many of my friends, just they are not that good at maths, but they start doing the projects in data science and data analytics, directly downloading the libraries and working with them. But you need to first understand the concept behind why we are using those uh, particular libraries in the with particular data set. You have to deal with different things at different times. So you need to
Interesting.
be perfect with the fundamentals and all. That is where
Isha.
most of the freshers or the fresh fish will do go wrong with it.
Interesting. That's, I think, having a fundamentals clear is really going to be an important part, and not following in the peer pressure or the trends pressure of getting into data sciences would help. So developing fundamentals is going to be a very important aspect for most of the aspects. But let's talk about economics here. Isha, what's your thought about economics is not much talked about by a lot of people, and they don't have an idea. So what are the mistakes that you see that people can do while looking for economics as one of the areas?
Yeah, so the curriculum in economics also is very diverse in different colleges in India. If you're talking just about India, I mean, it's really diverse when you go to universities in Kolkata, if you go to universities in Delhi, and if you go to universities in Bangalore and down south or in Madras. I mean, the curriculum difference is the curriculum is really different. But I mean, like I would talk about Delhi University because I studied there. The problems, I mean the mistakes that I would say that a lot of us faced was that when we enter into college, we are so confused. I mean, we just don't know what to do. I mean, everybody tells you that you need to build your profile in terms of research projects, or in terms of courses, or in terms of internships. So in the process, we take up a lot of internships which are not really relevant. I mean, just for the sake of it, we do a lot of such internships. I mean, we overburden ourselves and lose out on the time to actually learn our subject. Secondly, the courses, a few of the courses could be, not balanced in terms of aspects of social science and maths. So in Delhi University, the course is applied economics. I mean, not the course is rigorous in terms of maths and statistics. So I mean, a lot of times what happens is we don't pay equal attention to the social science aspect of economics, and we just go on. I mean, that comes from a lot of reading or exposure in terms of the lecture series that happen. I mean, all different sources these days, from the internet, from college, and all of these things. And yeah, I think that would be it. And also, I think if you're planning for a master's somewhere where marks is important, I think that's also a thing. I mean, there's no standardization procedure where they look at your curriculum, they look at your university, and they standardize the scores. It's all the same for wherever you're coming from, whichever corner of the world. So I think that way marks is important when you want to apply abroad.
Interesting. So having a good marks and a good score and a balanced profile is really going to be important. Okay, so we have another question which basically talks about the research papers. Okay, so how does research papers makes impact in the admission process? And now currently as a student, are you guys also looking to get your research papers published? What's the importance of it in this particular fields of each of yours, going ahead?
Well, I would say that it had great impact in my admission process into LSEF because uh, I'm not a top ranker in the class basically, but I have very much interest in doing other projects and research papers and working with the professor. So I had to maintain a decent percentage during my undergrad, so which is around 65 my percentages, but which is not a good score to get into top universities like UMass. But I have done various research papers and written papers and have published them, and I've attended various international conferences, which I've also mentioned in my profile. And during my interview process and everything, these are the main things which they have focused on because that is where I'm good at. And they have interviewed me regarding my research and all those things. And if you have an extracurricular activities, like if you are good at any one of the sports, will also add a good thing to your profile.
Okay, interesting. So Isha, what about you? I feel, research papers may play a role. So what's your thought in this?
Yeah, research papers definitely do play a role. I mean, it does not matter if you get them published, but if you've actually worked on a number of research papers, your exposure is more, and you could talk about them in your interview. So they actually gauge your uh, interest or your potential in the field when they talk to you about the research that you've worked on. And I think yeah, that's really also it depends on how you want to frame your career. If you want to get into research, then yeah, your previous work affects, and also the kind of researchers that you've worked with has an influence on your profile.
Interesting. So next question that we have, okay, how to start a research paper in data analytics. Okay. So how one gets a research paper done? I think it's one of the very basic and very fundamental questions of, okay, research papers are important, but how do we get to that? For a lot of people like who have not written a research, it would look like a very seemingly difficult task. So what's your thought about that? Starting from Isha, like how is your approach towards writing a research paper?
For starting a research paper, I would say that if you're already doing a lot of reading, then you come across cues on a regular basis, and you could just make a list of the cues that you come across. You could just selectively filter out the cues that you come across every day, and then do dig up more on them, and then somehow read. Literature reviews are really important part, so you read other research papers which are based on that particular topic that interests you, and then you find your niche and get started with it. And it's also, when you're starting, I mean, if you're a beginner, it's always wise to have a supervisor who could give a direction to your research. Otherwise, I mean, it's very difficult to find a direction and stick to it and go ahead. Yeah.
Interesting. So what's your thought about it, Satvik? In data analytics, how one can look towards writing a research paper?
It's the same thing. You need to first have the research question for that, and then you need to go through the papers which where other authors have already worked on the particular questions or topics, and then try to find the gap between their papers, and then uh, research on those things. And then if, if you do more literature survey, then you can have more knowledge of that, and you can do it. And working under the professors and getting the professors help will also help a lot in doing that, writing research
Okay.
papers.
Yeah, so one more point I would like to add here is that when you are a beginner, when all of us are beginners right now, so when as beginners, we're starting to write a research paper, it's always wise to write on a topic which is heavily researched on. Uh, if we start with a very, I mean, mostly what all of us do is that we try to choose something which is very novel and which is not widely available on the different platforms, and that's where the problem comes in. I mean, obviously we are beginners, we need to work and research on things which is heavily researched on, so that we have enough resources to refer to. So
And
yeah, that's a very important thing to keep in mind.
Interesting.
And it is also better to first start with the survey papers and then go for the research papers, because it gives you a quite advantage of having knowledge in all those. So
Interesting.
one of my friend is also working on this startup called Publish Sutra, where he'll be uh, interacting with people from different universities, professors, and trying to connect the students with the professors and how to write a research paper and all those things. So maybe you can, there's a website called publishsutra.com where you can go on.
Interesting. Okay, so I think a couple of final questions is, yeah, this is I think it's a very important question. I think somewhere, Satvik, you would have answered it. Is it a good idea to get into course like data sciences or data analytics if you're not good with maths, or if you're not like a champ in maths?
I mean, I think I already mentioned it before, because you need to be perfect at maths, concept like because these are the basic core fundamentals where you need to be very good at. Because, but if you are when working with machine learning or data science algorithms, if you have know what is the real logic behind, then you need to compulsory go through all the math concepts.
Hmm.
Predictions is nothing but you need to go with all the probability and statistics concepts, because one has to
Okay.
be good at maths. And if you are good at libraries, working with the libraries Python and R, then you can go with some extent. But to be a professional or to be very good in data science, you need to be good at mathematics.
Okay. Okay, so there are a couple of questions. Okay, there is one I would say a wrong notion is you don't publish research papers on LinkedIn. You publish them on researchgate.com or academia, or else the best places to publish your research paper is with a professional publisher like Elsevier, Springer, or Nature,
Scopus.
IEEE. Scopus Index is something that you may have to look at if you're choosing your journal, because any research publisher would have a Scopus index. So that's something is going to be important. And don't just publish into any shabby publisher or a conference. Be very careful with what kind of
International.
publisher. Yes, exactly. What kind of publisher, what is the reputation, is it an international publication or a national publication? And again, a personal tip, because I've written like 5 research papers in past and couple of book chapters. uh, Conference publication is always the secondary choice. Try to prefer a journal first than conference. And if you don't get a journal easily, then if that's the last resort, conference paper is also not bad. Okay, because conference sometimes look that conference papers also get published in their own journals. Okay. So that way it is going to be important. And how would you assess the quality of your research paper? If your research paper gets cited by more and more researchers, that's where your research is being far more valued. Okay. So the name that Satvik mentioned was Publish Sutra. You can look Google it and can get help. We at Foreign Admits also help students kind of understand how to write a research paper. We definitely don't write research papers for you, but we can help you get insights about writing your first research paper. But yeah, let's come to the final few questions. Uh, I think one of the very important questions that someone asked personally, okay, is when we're exploring the courses, okay, what are the red flags that we should look at, while exploring the courses or any university, because at this point of time there are tons of courses and universities available. So what are the things that as you as an aspirant would have thought, okay, these are the things that I should look at while I would be choosing my university or a course.
So for me, while I'm choosing the course, you need to be very good with the course curriculum that is with the program itself. Because if you know what they are going to teach in the course curriculum, and it will actually benefit you while doing the program, and the professors who are working there, and the university rankings, and if there is a particular data center in particular university, then it might help you a lot in doing your research or in doing your the work which is related to your projects or something.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with what Satvik has to say about the curriculum. My approach has always been to look at the course curriculum first, and then also for the term, if it's a 1 year course or a 2 years course. Another important factor was also, which I realized later on after coming here, is the place that you're going to. Even if you're choosing US, then which city of US, and what are the industries, what are the kind of companies that are around. And I think if you're going for like the Graduate Institute of Geneva is famous because it's in Geneva. So that way, I think the place is also a very important factor while choosing a course.
Interesting. So yeah, coming to the end of the webinar, we let's do a quick poll. What are the career prospects or the areas that each one of you as an attendee are looking at? Launching a poll, just quickly click on it and let's hear it out. Okay. Okay, so I think if it helped you in any way, this particular session, do revert us in comments, or there would be we'll follow up with you as a feedback form. Do share the feedbacks, how it was for you as an experience, and what and all things that you would want to learn further in these respective fields and more. Okay, and as I said, there are two very interesting courses for students who are looking to study either in India or also in India and abroad. I'll again share the links if you guys need it, so that you can just just enroll with your interests and see what these guys have to offer. And pretty much reputed universities, JK Lakshmipat Singhania University, and then UMass. So both of the universities are highly reputed all across India, and even UMass ranks I think in 26 in the world. So definitely you can look for those two courses. So one is talks about data analytics research in particular field, and then one talks about economics as one of the course, public policies. So whatever is your interest, go through it. So I think we got a lot of choices. Okay, I'll just share the links, Akash, so that you can go there, showcase your interest, and then probably the university people would get back to you. And yeah, with LSEF, right now the applications are going on, and it will get closed by mid-end of the September. And LSEF offers 20 lakhs of scholarship. Just like Satvik, you could be one of those students who are studying in US at like 50% of the cost. Okay, 13 lakhs in US is damn cheap, guys. Trust me. When you're studying in countries like US or Canada or UK, 13 lakhs is not expensive. And then you get 3 years of OPT. So 3 years you can work in US under the optional practical training, which would help you to build a far better career in terms of your prospects. And if you are planning for Europe, definitely, Isha has given some of the great names in Germany. And if you are like a 15 years of education and you are not able to get more easy admits, the best way is not to go for like a 2-year program like an MCOM or a MPhil or and all such. You can opt for a PG diploma courses. There are a lot of PG diploma courses all across India that you can look at, and you can probably opt for. I've shared a couple of them with you guys already. Show your interest and see what the courses that you can go for. But yeah, be very careful choosing the courses, because I would want you to choose a very particular course which would suit your interest in a way. Okay, so we come to the end of the session. We see analytics and economics being the clear winner. Okay, thanks to the mentors, I would say. There's not a public policy speaker here, but let me share the results with you guys. So yeah, so this is it. And let's see each other again in future. We would be organizing more webinars. And for the record, just after an hour there's another webinar for study in USA. If you guys want to join it, you can probably go to Foreign Advocates website, ping us, we'll share the links, or else I can probably help you share the links of that webinar here. But uh, get going right now. Don't stop in this particular pandemic scenario. Don't waste your year. Get enrolled in any course that you like as of now, because at this point of time you need to build your profile. Just like these people who have taken a step and right now are currently in their institutes. I would want each one of you to take that step and to succeed in your careers. Okay. Thank you, Satvik. Thank you, Isha. Thank you for your time. And it was really a pleasure hosting you guys in such short notice on this forum. And I'm sure a lot of students would have learned quite a bit, quite a lot from you guys. And keep progressing in your career and keep sharing the knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you.